You want me to marry a dead man? A corpse? Exactly. Once upon a time, in a village called Ibeku, there was a beautiful girl named Ujunwa. She was a very good dancer. Whenever she danced, she moved her body effortlessly from side to side as though it was fluid. Her parents, who knew about her exceptional talent for dancing, encouraged her and supported her by paying dance professionals to help improve their daughter's dancing skill. Ujunwa was their only child, so they gave her all their best. It was Ujunwa's desire to be a well-known dancer in the village, but something tragic happened, changing her life for good. Ujunwa's parents died from a strange sickness overnight. This caused her to start living in her auntie's house, and how she was treated was a complete opposite of how she was treated by her parents. Her aunt, Aunty Anoleka, had two children, a boy and a girl. The boy's name was Chidi, while the girl's name was Olanna. They were both Ujunwa's age mates, but they lived a reckless life. Chidi was an addicted smoker and drinker. There was no day he wouldn't return home drunk with a cigarette in his hand. All the money he had, he spent them on cigarettes and alcohol. And whenever he had no cash left, he would go to Ujunwa and beat her up, threatening to kill her. Fearfully, Ujunwa would give him all the money she had, which were given to her by passing neighbors who saw the way she was heavily maltreated. Olanna, on the other hand, was a professional prostitute. After Auntie Anolika's husband died, Olanna began to sleep with men for money because her father was no more to caution her. Auntie Anolika never cared for what she did as long as she brought money back home. Olanna also cared less about how her mother and her brother mistreated Ujunwa. She was nonchalant about the whole thing. Her only business was her job. Auntie Anolika belittled Ujunwa so much, calling her an orphan and a worthless girl. Ujunwa would be beaten till she gets scars on her body for just little mistakes like spilling food or breaking a plate. Sometimes Auntie Anolika would refuse to give her food. Auntie Anolika would beat Ujunwa with a broken bottle just because she asked for food. Auntie Anolika would also threaten to throw her out of the house. One day, Ujunwa got tired of the abuse. She didn't understand why she was hated so much by Auntie Anolika and Chidi. So, she took 3 of the insecticides Auntie Anolika usually sold in the market, mixed it up, and gulped it down her throat in an attempt to end her life. She was lying on the floor, convulsing, until a passing neighbor saw her and rushed her to the hospital. The doctors were able to revive her, and the neighbor paid the hospital bills because Auntie Anolika refused to do that. When Ujunwa was discharged from the hospital, she went back home and saw Auntie Anolika waiting for her at the front door. When Auntie Anolika saw Ujunwa, she adjusted her wrapper and asked, "Why are you here? You would have just gone and stayed with your parents. You would have just died, in fact. In case you don't know, I was already selecting from my best of clothes which of them I would wear to attend your burial. But no, you refused to die." She shot those words at her as she left her presence. After that day, Ujunwa was not given food in that house. She would stay 2 days without being fed. Because of this, whenever Auntie Anolika went to the market to sell her insecticides, Chidi to the bar to smoke and drink all day, and Olanna to her prostitution work, she would go to a junction in her street and dance with the music played from people's shop. Because of her exceptional dancing skills, she was able to earn money. A plate would be beside her for people who loved and enjoyed watching her dance would drop money. Whenever she gathered enough, she would use it to buy some food. This continued without the knowledge of Auntie Anoleka. Soon, suitors started flooding in to ask for Ujunwa's hand in marriage. They had watched her dance exceptionally and had fallen in love with her from that moment. However, Auntie Anoleka would chase them away by lying to them that Ujunwa cannot be the perfect wife for them. This continued for a while until one day, a warrior, Kelechi, met Ujunwa dance. He loved her and wanted to marry her, so he went to Auntie Anoleka and told her. Ujunwa was ready to hear another lie and excuse from Auntie Anoleka to chase Kelechi away, but something surprising happened. Auntie Anoleka agreed to let Ujunwa marry Kelechi. Ujunwa couldn't believe it when she heard that Auntie Anoleka had allowed Kelechi to marry her. She had eavesdropped on their conversation. She wondered if Auntie Anoleka had changed for the better or if she was planning something evil. Ujunwa didn't love Kelechi, but she wanted to leave that house. In fact, she saw marriage as an escape route, so she agreed to marry him. Soon, they planned the wedding date and began preparing for it. However, a war broke out, and Kelechi had to go for it with his fellow warriors. They fought till they came out victorious, but Kelechi and a group of warriors didn't make it alive. His corpse was brought to his home, and Ujunwa mourned his death. Her only source of escape from Auntie Anoleka had passed away. She was truly devastated. She cried so badly close to his corpse that people thought that she had been married to him. One day, as Ujunwa sat on a stool in the kitchen, lost in her thoughts, Auntie Anoleka stepped in and tapped her into reality while sitting on another stool. Ujunwa, did you promise to marry Kelechi? Auntie Anoleka started. Ujunwa was confused why she was asking such a question. She wondered what Auntie Anoleka was plotting this time and hoped that she was safe. After much hesitation, she responded, "Yes, I did." Auntie Anoleka released a wicked smile and said, "Then get ready to marry him." Ujunwa couldn't believe her ears. She wondered if there was another Kelechi she was to marry. "I don't understand," she said, sincerely confused. "The wedding date has already been fixed, so get ready. You must marry Kelechi." Ujunwa finally understood. Her brain was finding it difficult to process what she had just heard. She stood up and asked, "You want me to marry a dead man, a corpse?" "Exactly," Auntie Anoleka said, laughing hysterically. Ujunwa couldn't take it anymore. She was indeed fed up. Her blood was now boiling in anger. So she looked at her and said, "God forbid that thing. It is only you that will marry him." "We shall see," Auntie Anoleka replied her and left, plotting her next scheme. Ujunwa was suddenly scared. She knew that Auntie Anoleka could do anything. So she prayed in her heart for protection. She was later beaten that day by Chidi for shouting at his mother. After that day, Ujunwa began to see Kelechi's ghost, threatening to take her life if she doesn't marry him. This made her to lose her peace, but she was determined to not give up on her stance. One day, as she was about entering the bathroom to have her bath, Kelechi's ghost appeared in front of her. He had promised to kill her then and there if she doesn't comply to marry him. Exhausted, with tears in her eyes, Ujunwa gave in. She then told Aunty Anoleka that she would agree to marry Kelechi's corpse, and Aunty Anoleka was extremely happy. After that day, Kelechi's ghost ceased to appear to her. Ujunwa also had to beg Kelechi's parents to allow her to marry their son's corpse so his spirit wouldn't come to haunt her again. Though they hesitated for a while because they thought it was rather absurd, they later agreed, and together with Aunty Anoleka, they set the wedding date to be in a month's time. On a fateful day, while Ujunwa was buying her wedding materials in the market with the money Aunty Anoleka gave her for the first time, she heard the voice of a town crier in the village saying, "The king has announced that there will be a dancing competition at the village square for all the maidens in the village. Every maiden must participate, and the best dancer will be crowned the princess of the crown prince and marry him." When Ujunwa heard this, she knew that Aunty Anoleka would never let her join in the dancing competition, so she ignored it all as she purchased her wedding clothes. When the day came, all the maidens and their families, including Aunty Anoleka, Chidi, Olanna, and Ujunwa, were there. Olanna had decided to be one of the dancing maidens, so the rest of her family were there to support and watch her. The dancing competition began, and every maiden danced in the best of their ability. They danced and danced and danced before the king, the queen, the crown prince, and the entire villagers. After they had finished dancing, the winner was announced, and it happened to be Olanna. She was called out in front of the royal family to be crowned the princess by the chief elder. Aunty Anoleka, Chidi, and Ujunwa were standing beside her, and the villagers cheered them on. The chief elder began by adorning Olanna with the beads. When he had finished, he held the crown, ready to let it sit on Olanna's head. But a strange force repelled the crown from her head. This caused a wave of shock to fill everyone witnessing the event. The chief elder tried again and again, but the same thing happened. Olanna was embarrassed, and Aunty Anoleka couldn't take it, so she yelled, "It is a lie! My child is the princess! Crown her, or else I will do it myself." The royal kingdom seer, who was at their midst, then spoke, "She isn't the princess." Hearing this, the king then asked, "Is it not you that said that we should set up this dancing competition, and whoever is the winner is the princess? What then is this embarrassment?" The seer looked up and down, then turned to the king and said, "Don't worry, my king. The princess is standing before us. She didn't get to dance." The king was confused because he knew that he had emphasized on the fact that every maiden must participate, and wondered if the town crier conveyed his message accurately. "Who is she then? Call her out. Let her dance in our presence," the queen spoke. "You, dance for us," the seer said, pointing at Ujunwa, who was astonished. Aunty Anoleka wasn't fazed because to her, Ujunwa cannot dance. She had never seen her dance and was confident that she would disgrace herself. As the music began playing, Ujunwa began to dance. Every step attracted attention. She moved her body as her face glowed with joy because she loved dancing. Her every movement conveyed an emotion as everyone clapped tremendously for her. Aunty Anolika was far from shocked. She was dumbfounded. She never knew that Ujunwa could dance so well, and because of this, fear enveloped her that she might be crowned the princess. When Ujunwa was done, the chief elder declared her the winner, retrieving the beads he had won on Olanna. Ujunwa knelt down as he began adorning her neck with the beads. When it was time for the crown to be worn, all eyes was fixed on her, hoping it wouldn't repel. Slowly, the chief elder placed the crown on her head successfully as a huge shout of joy bursted from the villagers. However, something strange happened. Unlike the shouts of joy coming from the royal family and the villagers, a cry of pain was coming from Aunty Anoleka. She cried and cried, falling on the ground. She scratched her body vigorously, and suddenly she lauded, "I will confess! Let me confess! Please don't kill me!" Everyone was surprised by her exhibit, but she began, "I killed Ujunwa's parents." "Hey, abomination!" every villager said. "I was jealous of my sister. She married the man I wanted, so I hated her for that and tried to close up her womb. But it didn't work. They gave birth to Ujunwa. I tried everything in my power to kill Ujunwa. I used charm, everything, but nothing was working. The Dibia that gave me the charm told me that Ujunwa cannot be killed by anyone. She can only die if she kills herself. So I decided to kill her parents through a strange sickness so I can have her under my roof and deal with her to the extent that she would want to kill herself." Initially, the sickness couldn't penetrate Ujunwa's parents. The Dibia then told me I would have to sacrifice my children's destiny, Chide and Olanna, to make the sickness work, which I eventually did, and her parents died. I hated Ujunwa. I was very angry when she came back alive from the hospital after attempting suicide. I wanted to make her life miserable, so I lied to suitors and gave excuses so she wouldn't get married. But one day, the Dibia, who gave me charms, revealed that the reason Ujunwa couldn't be killed is because she is destined to be married to a royal blood. I knew what this meant, so I had to allow the next suitor, Kelechi, to marry her. But after he died in the war, I didn't know what to do. So I made Ujunwa agree to marry his corpse by using charm to make a familiar spirit that looks like Kelechi tell her that she must marry him. "Please forgive me. My children, please forgive me. Ujunwa, Biko, please forgive me." Ujunwa was astonished. She fell to the ground and cried. How could someone be so wicked to kill her own parents? She wept and wept, and Aunty Anolika kept apologizing. Olanna and Chidi were shocked by the confession. Their destinies had been taken away from them. They began to shout and curse their mother in anger. The king declared that Aunty Anolika would be killed by hanging, so she was kept in the palace prison. But the next day, they had found out that she had killed herself through hanging. Olanna and Chidi apologized to Ujunwa, who later forgave them. Ujunwa became the crown princess, who later became the queen, and her story was told for generations to generations. Dear lovely viewers, this is the end of this story. Please support us by subscribing to our channel. Also, share to your friends and family. Thank you for watching and see you in my next story.